Doesn't it feel great to be alive? Happy, beloved Valentine's Day, YouTube baseball fans. Hope all you guys are having a magical and lovely Valentine's Day and a happy Valentine's Day Saturday as well. I'm going to try to keep tonight's episode short, simple, and sweet, but we do have a game recap / talk and highlights to get to in game 2 of a 4-game series between the Northern Colorado Owls and the Wichita State Shockers. So before we can get into that, guys, welcome back to the channel of a very special Valentine's Day edition of Main Event Baseball with Ryan. Okay, so in last night's episode, I said that today was a scheduled doubleheader between the Northern Colorado Bears and the Wichita State Shockers, and I said we would find out if we would have a doubleheader today. The case is we did not have a doubleheader, but we did have baseball game played instead of getting one game in or getting a doubleheader in. We got one 9-inning ball game in. Although we did not go to 9 innings, it went about 6.5 to 7 innings, and I'm going to tell you that in a little bit. But I wanted to say that there is going to be a doubleheader between these two teams tomorrow, guys, starting at 11:05 Central Time will be game 1. And then after that will be game 2. So game 1 tomorrow will be a 9-inning game. And then the finale will be the game 2 of the doubleheader tomorrow will be a 7-inning ball game. But that is not what happened tonight. That is tomorrow. So let's get into game 2 of this 4-game series between the Northern Colorado Bears and the Wichita State Shockers. All right, guys. So before we get into the highlights of tonight's game 2 of this 4-game series, I wanted to actually say something about the Wichita State Shockers, guys. Yesterday, for their home opener, they were in their beautiful white jersey and white pants, but the Wichita State Shockers uniforms for game 2 today was literally pure, beautiful college baseball. They were in their yellow jerseys and black pants. And I'm not trying to be rude and I'm not trying to be offensive, but they actually looked like a team of bumblebees. But I did like the uniforms for the Wichita State Shockers. Now, the uniforms for the Northern Colorado Bears were slightly different. They were in their navy blue jersey for game 2 earlier today. The same jersey they wore in game 1 yesterday, but instead of being in the gray pants, they were in their white pants. So those were the uniforms for those two teams for game 2 of this 4-game series, guys. But now the question is, after a 11-4 loss on opening day, would the Northern Colorado Bears be able to come back and get a win on Valentine's Day? All right, guys. Well, the top of the first inning kind of started the same like it did in game 1 yesterday for the Northern Colorado Bears, guys. Northern Colorado Bears would actually send 6 men up in the top of the first inning, and only getting 1 hit, they were able to get an early run in the very first inning. And just like yesterday, guys, it started off in the favor of the Northern Colorado Bears, guys. The first 2 hitters would actually ground out, but then there would be a walk and an air to the first baseman, and the next batter would be Pruski, and he would get a simple single, and he would make this a 1-0 ball game in favor of the Northern Colorado Bears, guys. I mean, literally, everything went right yesterday. Top of the first inning, the Northern Colorado Bears sent 5 men to the plate. In the top of the first inning, in game 2, they send 6 men up. But despite sending 6 men up, they still get a run in, and they put pressure on Wichita State by taking a 1-0 lead. The bottom of the first inning was pure magic for the Northern Colorado Bears, guys. It was a uno, dos, tres inning. And after 1 inning, the Northern Colorado Bears, for the very first time, had a whole inning in this game where they were actually in the lead. And the second inning, guys, would be a 1-2-3 inning for Northern Colorado. But then the bottom of the second got a little bit interesting, guys. Wichita would send 5 men to the plate in the bottom of the second, but luckily they would not able to score. And after 2 innings in Wichita, we actually were seeing a different game than yesterday, because Northern Colorado was still up 1-0. The top of the third, guys, probably was a really rough inning for the Northern Colorado Bears. They were set down in order again, but 2 out of the 3 men struck out swinging. And then everything went downhill from there. The bottom of the third inning, 9 men came to the plate for Wichita State, and there was only 1 hit in the bottom of the third inning. With 9 men coming to the plate and only 1 hit happening, Wichita State scored 3 runs, and bippity-boppity-boo, we had a new ball game. Wichita State was now in the lead by a score of 3-1. The very next inning, the Wichita State would bat around. More importantly, they would put a 6 runs on the board, guys. And in the 4th inning, there was 3 extra base hits in a row, a double, a 2-run homer, and then the very next batter, which was ex-MLB player and ex-MLB Hall of Famer Mike Sweeney. His son would have an 11-pitch at-bat. Yes, Mike Sweeney's son, okay, had an 11-pitch at-bat, and one of those pitches was boom! Looked like for a second it was going to be a no-doubter home run, and just at the last second it went foul. But you know what? 7 pitches. Yes, 7 pitches after that long foul ball to right field. Boom! No doubter, back-to-back home runs, guys. And I mean, Northern Colorado was starting to get absolutely slaughtered. But yes, guys, Mike Sweeney's son playing for Wichita State, guys, and he had a 11-pitch at-bat. I'm telling you guys, he fought off a lot of tough pitches. He swung at 5 pitches out of 11, and of those 5 he swung at were actually balls, but he did not want to walk, guys. And you know what? It just went downhill, okay, for Northern Colorado, guys. So then the 5th inning came around, guys, and the 5th inning was absolutely not any better. Wichita State would put a 5-run on the board, guys, and next thing you know, they were up 14-1 after 5 innings in Wichita State, guys. Now it was not really going into the favor of Wichita State. All right, guys, so I want to read you guys the starting pitcher for Northern Colorado on his outing, his first outing of the 2026 college baseball regular season. So he would go 3 1/3. He only gave up 1 hit. Now think about that. 3 in the third, and he only gives up 1 hit, guys. 3 runs. He walked 5 batters, and he only struck out 2. And then the very first guy out of the bullpen is the one that gave up 2 long balls, back-to-back home runs, might I add, guys. And like I said, Northern Colorado, they lost yesterday 11-4. So it was not a close game yesterday. But on Valentine's Day and Saturday in game 2 of this 4-game series, they lose 14-1. So Northern Colorado Bears off to a very rough start. They are 0-2 to kick off the 2026 regular season, guys. And I mean, Wichita State played very aggressively in this ball game. Even when they were up by at least 5, 6 or more runs, they kept the pressure on Northern Colorado. And the one thing Northern Colorado did wrong was they gave up a lot of free bases, okay? They gave up 13 free bases. And like free bases is like a walk or a hit by batter. Like a hit batter. And Northern Colorado's pitching gave up 13. So that was definitely one thing that did not go in the favor of Northern Colorado, guys. And, you got to feel for their starter, guys. Goes 3 in the third, gives up 1 hit. He only gave up 1 hit, but he did walk a lot of batters. And the interesting thing really about this is he actually started off very well. The first 2 innings were actually not bad. After the first 2 innings on the mound, that's kind of when it went downhill a little bit. And, it's always like, you're always going to have bad outings or you're going to have rough games. But it's just like the way he started the game and like how effective he was on that mound. I'm not saying that he did not try. He went out and he pitched his heart out, I mean, he was throwing ball after ball. And, as a pitcher, that can get to you a lot. It can affect your psyche a lot. And he battled back in, guys. But, Wichita State, they did not take anything for granted. And, that's one thing you have to tip your hat to Wichita State for, is they didn't take any of this for granted. They decided to score, and every inning that Wichita State scored in today's ball game was more than a 2-run inning. Okay, look at the third. Bottom of the third, it was a 3-run inning. Bottom of the fourth, it was a 6-run inning. Bottom of the fifth, it was a 5-run inning. Wichita State did not take anything for granted. They treated the Northern Colorado Bears like the Vanderbilt Commodores or the Tennessee Volunteers. They knew that, even if they get cocky for a little bit, that's when, Northern Colorado can actually make it a whole nother ballgame and possibly come back. Now, the one thing you got to also understand, guys, is the pitching for Wichita State in game 2 was effective. They did really well. They only had to use 1 guy out of the bullpen. And I mean, it was a pure domination game. I mean, I don't want to say this on YouTube in a game recap or game highlight, but the Northern Colorado Bears got slaughtered on a Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, and it was definitely not a Valentine Day present for Northern Colorado, guys. It was more of a Valentine's Day massacre for Northern Colorado baseball, guys. And you know what? The good news is they don't lose the series. Remember what I said. This is only a 4-game series. So the Northern Colorado Bears can come back tomorrow and win those 2 ball games, and then they will end the 4-game series with a split. So, that's the good news for the Northern Colorado Bears. The bad news is if Northern Colorado even loses one of the 2 games tomorrow. They will lose the series, guys, but just a really rough day at the office and at the ballpark for Northern Colorado. They only scored 1 run. It was in the first inning. They only had 2 hits, and those 2 hits were by the exact same player, and it was Prusky, the shortstop. He had both hits for Northern Colorado today, but other than that, the Northern Colorado Bears bats were unfortunately quiet, guys, and it was no fun Valentine's Day at the ballpark for Northern Colorado. They are now 0-2 on their season, and Wichita State moves 2-0.